We would like to think that if a ton of money was dropped into our lap, we would gladly accept it. I mean, who wouldn't? But strangely enough, that's not the case. Unconsciously and uncontrollably, we are rejecting money, pushing it away. And this attitude of ours shows us what our relationship with money truly is. So in this video, I'm going to play for you a guided meditation, a releasing process that I did during a recent 9-day retreat. And this is all about your relationship with money. And this is going to do for you two things. First, this will allow you to test for yourself whether you truly accept money into your life or not. And two, this will allow you to take ownership over your thoughts and attitudes so you can clearly see what your thinking is towards money and drop what doesn't work for you, leaving you in a position where you can truly accept money into your life and have real abundance. So let me go ahead and play this for you now. And along with this, I'm going to show you some beautiful imagery from up in the mountains where we did this retreat. So just sit back, follow along, and enjoy. Let's do a cleanup, a guided release. So you can put your books down. Get nice and relaxed. Close your eyes. And let's take a look at your relationship with money. Because it is a relationship. It's all about how you feel and think about it. That determines whether it's a good relationship or a bad relationship. And just see if you've been disapproving of money. Maybe you don't have enough. Maybe it's hard to get. Takes a lot of work. So what are you disapproving about? Money. And what are you accomplishing by disapproving of it? Look at what you're creating in your mind. And that's your picture. You're doing it. And if you're doing it, and that is resulting in a bad relationship with money, what do you decide to do about it now? And so it's your decision. I'm going to be positive and love money, or I'm going to be negative and disapprove of it. Judge it. Make it wrong. Make it into something that's a problem. So could you let go disapproving of it? Just could you let go disapproving of it? And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And even more. And now, what sort of judgments do you have about money? And maybe you have some judgments about people who have lots of money. And maybe those judgments are that they're corrupt, they take advantage of others, they're egocentric, they're not spiritual. They take advantage of others. And look at what you're holding in mind with those judgments of other people who have lots of money. Because what you're putting in your mind is, I don't want to be one of those people, so I won't have any money. But who said that you had to be like that? That has nothing to do with money. That's like people that debate about guns and the right to own guns. And they say, well, guns cause violence. The gun is an inanimate object. It's the person who wields it. And it's the same thing with money. If you have judgments about people, your judgments about that person, it's got nothing to do with money. But you're linking the two. And who does that affect? You. Now just look at someone who you're judging. And could you let go of judging them? That's just you being negative. And could you let go of judging them? And some more. And just let that go. And even more. 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 And see, even if that person is doing wrong, how does it help you to judge them? How does it help anything to judge them? All you're doing is contributing to the negativity. Two wrongs don't make a right. If you want to neutralize negativity, you don't do it by feeding it more negativity. You neutralize it by being positive, by being loving. And being loving doesn't mean being stupid. Do it for yourself. Do it for your own consciousness, your own good. Could you let go of that negativity? And could you let go of disapproving of this person? And could you let go of disapproving of them even more? And even more. 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 And could you let go disapproving of them even more? And even more. And how does that feel? Isn't it better to drop that negativity? You see, you're doing it for you. Because that mind of yours is literal. It has no discrimination. And it works just like a mirror. So as much as you're judging somebody else, guess what? You're judging yourself. And if you have negativity, disapproval, hatred towards somebody else, you're hating yourself as much. So the smart thing to do is turn that around, be positive. Because if that mind is literal, you're going to be showering yourself with love. And which do you prefer? So could you give this person some approval? Because that's a smart thing to do. And could you give them a little bit more approval? Now, it doesn't mean that you have to agree with what they're doing. Just love them. Because positive doesn't hurt anything. And could you give them some more approval? And could you give them some more approval? And some more. And some more. And could you give them some more approval? And more. And even more. And notice how that feels. It feels nice, right? And look who's doing it. You are. It's your consciousness. Stop wasting it away by being negative. You're in charge here. Now, could you give money some approval? It's just a state of mind. And could you give it some more approval? And some more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. So see what other judgments you have about it. Thoughts and feelings. Take a look to see how you're pushing it away with attitudes. We got all sorts of attitudes about it. It takes a lot of work. I have to prostitute myself out in order to get it. Trade my time, my labor, my body to have it. So see if you're resisting it. Resisting and resenting what you have to do in order to get it. After all, hardly any of us likes to work. And a lot of us don't like what we do in our work, or the fact that we have to get up every day and do it. And that's all tied up with money. And that resentment and that resistance goes right to our attitude towards money. No wonder why it's hard to get. Could you let go of resisting money? Just let go of that resistance. Bring it up. Right? Bring up all your resistance towards it and what you have to do. Now measure that resistance on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most resistant. How much are you resisting your relationship with money here? And bring up that resistance, whatever that is, whether it's a 2, a 5, a 10. Or a 1,000. Whatever that number is, just look at that resistance. And most of us don't like resistance. When it comes up, we want to push it back down. We say no to it. But that doesn't help anything, doesn't make the resistance go away. So instead of saying no to it, can you say yes to that resistance? And can you say yes to that resistance even more? Just a feeling, that resistance, that's all. Never mind the story. Just get in touch with that feeling. Just a feeling. Can you say yes to that resistance? And can you say yes to that resistance even more? And can you say yes to that resistance even more? And even more. And just say yes to it. Why yes? And could you say yes to it even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And measure yourself again. See if you moved. See if that number is lower now. All right, see, that's that resistance dissolving away. That resistance is a barrier, and now you're dissolving it. So let go pushing down on the rest of that resistance. Let it all come up now. And just open up that imaginary door right in front of you. Open up. And let the rest of the resistance come up and go right on out the door. And just watch it leave. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just a feeling now, passing through. Just let it pass through. Just allow it to evaporate and dissolve. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And just welcome it up. Let go of holding it down. Allow it to arise. Allow it to arise some more. And just get out of the way. Let it pass right on by. Let it leave. And just watch it leave. Now see if you have an I can't when it comes to money. I can't have it. I don't have the right job. I don't have the right business. I don't have the right resources. No matter how much I want it, I can't have it. Now that I can't is resistance. Bring up that resistance now. Again, measure it. This helps you really to not only get in touch with the resistance, but at the same time get bigger than it. Because if you could put a number to it, that automatically makes you bigger. You're way bigger than it. It's just a thing. It's just a feeling, that resistance. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how much resistance do you have that you feel when you say, I can't? As much as I would like to be infinite, I'm limited. And can you say yes to that resistance? Just say yes to it. That's all you need to do. You have to figure it out. Just say yes to it. And could you say yes to it even more? And even more. 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 Now see if you can welcome up some more resistance. If you feel lighter, you got some momentum going here. Let go pushing down on the rest of it. Allow that resistance to come up now. Let it all leave. Just get out of the way. Let it pass through. Open up. Open up that door. And allow that resistance to just go right on out the door. Just watch it evaporate and dissolve. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And welcome up some more resistance. Don't push down on it. Just allow it to arise. And let it pass through. Notice how much nicer that feels. And even if you don't end up with more money, you get to play AON, BON because you get to feel nicer about it. You don't have to feel so miserable and stuck in resistance. Right? So just let the resistance go. And let it go even more. And just let it all go. Now, the only block that we have to money is just in our thinking. Henry Ford, the automaker, said it best. He said, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. It's all in your thinking. And we see all sorts of fallacies in our thinking. I know one time I Listen to Tony Robbins. He made a really good point. Because a lot of us, we have it wired into our mind that we have to work hard for money. And he said, well, if hard work is all it took to have money, then a ditch digger should be rich. And then we look at people like Warren Buffett. Someone who has a very good relationship with money, who's always coming from a place of I can. In fact, he gave away all of his money. And he created more, even more than he had to begin with. And there was once an interview where someone asked him, well, what is your secret? And he said, my parents taught me how to love, to be loving. And see, Warren, he invests in businesses. And when he's looking at a business to invest in, he said, what he does is he walks into the front door of the business and he talks to the receptionist. And if the receptionist has a good attitude, he knows it's a good business. And so he's coming from a place of love. So maybe love is the biggest key. And this shows us what our thinking is. How loving are we? And you can start by examining yourself. How loving are you towards yourself with money? Are you beating yourself up? Are you judging yourself? Oh, look at the mistakes I did. Look at all the trouble I have. Look at what a bad person I am. I'm lazy. I'm stupid. I'm greedy. Well, if you want to hold that in mind, that's your thinking. If you want to keep it, great. Good on you. But which do you prefer? Do you prefer to be negative or do you prefer to be positive, loving? Now, could you let go disapproving of yourself? And could you let go disapproving of yourself even more? And could you let go disapproving of yourself even more? And even more. And could you let go disapproving of yourself even more? And even more. And even more. Now notice how that feels. See, you've been doing it all along. And you're in charge. So now could you give yourself some love and approval? Because that's a smart thing to do. And could you give yourself some more love and approval? And could you give yourself some more love and approval? And some more. And could you give yourself even more love and approval? And even more. Notice how nice that is. And see if it's more possible to be successful with money now, being loving. Seriously, is it more possible being loving, or is it more possible being unloving? That's a no-brainer. So could you love yourself even more? And love yourself even more. And more. Now, like Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Examine your thinking now. What are you holding in mind? Now, as you've seen, all your mind is a recording and playback machine. All it does is it records things and it plays it back to you, whether you want to listen to it or not. And all sorts of junk gets recorded into that mind. Limitations. A lot of the stuff we heard when we were a little kid. Things that people told us. Like money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evil. It's not good or spiritual to have lots of money. You need to give it away. So what did they tell you about money? And just get in touch with that. And bring your attention now to your stomach or chest. And just see if that stirs up a contraction, tightness in your stomach or chest. And that's you pushing down in your feelings. Stop that. Open up now. Open up that imaginary door right in front of that contraction. And just let that energy go now. Right on out the door. And let it go even more. And 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 let that go even more now. It's just energy. Open up and let it leave. And see if you're still bothered by that thought. See if it's still true. You see, pushing down on that energy was holding that belief, that thought in place. And the proof is, just check it out. See if it's less true now. If it is, just get in touch with your stomach or chest. Notice if there's a contraction there. That's your body letting you know you're pushing it down. You're holding on to that virus of thinking. And it's not natural. That's why there's a contraction. Open up and let that energy leave. And just let it all go now. And get a picture of that thought, that story, that money doesn't grow on trees or whatever it is that they told you. Get a picture of that, whatever that looks like to you. Now, where is that picture? It's in your mind. Your mind, meaning you're the owner. You're the owner, the operator, the programmer of that thing. You control it. And does that picture serve you? Is that helpful? If not, you can take it out. And just imagine that picture now, evaporating and dissolving. And allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And even more. And allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And just let the whole thing evaporate and dissolve. And take a look at what you told yourself about money. Maybe you told yourself, I'm not good enough. Or no matter what I do, I can't win. Or maybe you told yourself that it's risky. Maybe it's risky to start a business or really go for it. That you have more to lose than you stand to gain, and you'll probably lose. So you play small, you hold back. You play it safe. Now again, that mind is a recording and playback instrument. So when you tell yourself that stuff, the mind's happy to record it in, and it just repeats it back to you until you believe it. And it's totally true to you. But how true can it be? Other people don't have that thought, that program. They have no problem reaching out courageously without hesitation, going for it, taking risks, and succeeding. Why can't you? Just a thought. Just a picture. I can't. And get in touch with that. And see if that brings up a contraction in your stomach or chest. Now, what if that contraction is the only thing that's blocking you? It's like a barrier. All you have to do is just open up and dissolve it. Open up in a door. And allow that energy now to go right on out the door. And even more. 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 And welcome up the rest of that energy. Invite it all up. Don't save some for later. Bring it all up now. Now that you're in touch with it. And just get out of the way and let it all go. And notice how you feel. Now that lighter feeling is your love coming up. That is the love that has always been there inside of you, covered up by the negativity. And that's the love that we're talking about. We're talking about Warren Buffett. And all these other examples of love. People that not only preach, but practice love. And show that love is the most powerful force in the universe. People like Martin Luther King, Gandhi. People who walk their talk. And you can do it too. And just feel that love. And could you love money now? Just love it. It's not an ego love. It's not egotistical at all. It's not being better than anybody. It's just loving. It's loving it if you have it. It's loving it if you don't have it. Even if Donald Trump has all of it, loving it anyway. Just money. Just a thought. Just love. 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 And by loving, you're the richest person in the world. Because love is even better than money. And can you love it some more? And could you love it some more? And even more. And even more. And just get a picture of money flying at you. Just being dumped on you. Being showered with money. Hundreds, thousands, millions. Just coming right at you. Filling up your bank account.
and just building more and more and more. Why not? Why not have lots of money in the bank? That's a loving thing to do. So you give yourself lots of money. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having at all. Having is not negative in the slightest. Wanting is. When they talk about the root of all evil, it's not the having. It's the wanting that gets us to do shitty things. To be cruel to each other. To take advantage of each other. It's the want for it that's the problem. Nothing wrong with having. All right? So just open up. Open up to it. Let go of resisting it. Open up those doors, wide open. Allow it to just shower right all over you. Give yourself a money bath now. And if any resistance comes up, see, it's just your old programs, your ego, all right? Open up and just let that resistance go. And let it go even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. See, it's not bad to have money. Not bad at all. It's just a thing. It's like breathing air. Can you allow yourself to have it? Just open up and accept it. And allow yourself to be happy even if you don't have it. So what? Money doesn't bring you happiness. But happiness brings you money. Go for happiness. And allow that happiness to expand. You know how you feel. I see it on your face. Lots of smiles. Peaceful faces. See? There's no struggle with it. It's the easiest thing there is. That's why you feel so peaceful now. And just accept it. And look at how easy it is to accept it. What do you have to do to accept it? Nothing. Just accept it. And welcome it in some more. And notice how that feels. Nice and loving. Guess what? That's you loving yourself. Love is the answer. And this shows you exactly what you need to do. Examine your thinking. How loving are you? When you're coming from I can't, you have resistance, you have feelings about it, that's not loving. And whose responsibility is that? Yours. And whose responsibility is it to love yourself? You. That's it. You got the formula for manifesting gold now. And you already have it. All right? So when you're ready, you can allow your eyes to open. And just stay open, stay loving. And let it get better and better and better.
So thanks for following along. If this helped shift your attitude towards money, then let me know what you experience. Drop me a comment below. And if you want to know more about this, check out my new 6-week course on wealth manifestation. It's about getting real-world results through releasing. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you showing up. I really enjoy doing these videos for you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.